4.9 seconds to 60 miles per hour. That is what an electric Porsche SUV starting at $84,000 does from a standstill. The Macan 4 sits between buyers who want the badge and buyers who want the value. And whether either side is right depends on what you find when you stand next to this car at the Martigny Motor Show. The exterior in Gentian Blue Metallic earns a second look that photographs never replicate. Under show floor lighting, the paint shifts between deep navy and a cooler violet tone. Split LED headlights narrow the face, a full-width light bar stretches across the tail, and 21-inch Macan design wheels fill the arches cleanly. Frameless doors cost Porsche engineering money and cost you nothing to appreciate. The drag coefficient sits at 0.25, lower than most sedans. That number is not styling, it is range. How fast this car charges settles the ownership question. That figure lands in the verdict. The interior is where this Macan 4 pulls away from expectations. A dark upper dashboard meets chalk leather across the seats, door cards, and console, and the contrast makes the cabin feel wider than it measures. A curved display spans the driver's view. Porsche kept physical climate controls below the central screen, so you adjust the temperature without looking away from traffic. That decision separates this car from half the electric SUVs on sale. The front cabin puts you lower than the old Macan by just over an inch, and that drop changes the relationship with the steering wheel. 14-way adjustable seats hold you without squeezing. The bolsters tighten only in sport mode, and heated and ventilated front seats come with the Sport Chrono package on this build. Picture yourself at 7 in the morning, pulling out of the driveway in silence. No cold start, no neighbors knowing what time you leave. That changes the ownership feeling faster than any spec figure. The steering wheel is the detail that earns the price difference over the Audi. It is the correct diameter, the correct thickness, and the drive mode selector on its lower right spoke puts Sport Plus one click from normal without reaching for a screen. The Bose surround system fills the cabin cleanly at low volume and scales without distortion when you push it. The rear cabin is honest about its priorities. Legroom behind a 6-foot driver is adequate rather than generous. The floor sits higher than expected because the battery lives underneath, and 3 adults across the back will know each other well by journey's end. 2 USB-C ports and a dedicated climate zone keep rear passengers independent. This carries 4 comfortably and tolerates a 5th. The boot opens to 18.1 cubic feet with the seats up, enough for a weekly shop, 2 cabin bags, and a folded stroller. Drop the seats and that climbs to 46.5. The load floor is flat, the lip is low, and the frunk adds 2.9 cubic feet for charging cables or forgotten groceries. 21 minutes from 10 to 80% on a 270 kilowatt fast charger. That is a coffee order, not a schedule change. The 100 kilowatt-hour battery on 800-volt architecture returns 308 miles of EPA range, though the 21-inch wheels on this car bring the real-world figure closer to 270. Level 2 charging fills the battery overnight. The Audi Q6 e-tron shares this platform and costs roughly $10,000 less, and that gap deserves a straight answer. Early Macan electrics earned mixed reviews for software stability, with owners reporting intermittent glitches from infotainment to driver assistance. Porsche has been patching since launch, and the 2026 model year benefits from that work. But this car asks you to trust the improvements will continue. That is a deliberate engineering choice, not a shortcoming, and whether you accept it depends on how much patience you bring to a first-generation platform. 402 horsepower, all-wheel drive, and a 0 to 60 time that would have embarrassed a Cayman 10 years ago. If the badge said anything else, this car would be the story of the segment. Because it says Porsche, the question is whether the premium buys something the Audi does not. If you care about steering weight and the way this car changes direction, yes. If rear legroom and a lower payment matter more, the Q6 answers that brief. Anyone paying $90,000 for the Audi equivalent is paying for space, not sensation. And that is a more expensive trade-off than most people realize. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Leave a comment below with your thoughts or questions. I read every single one. And don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified about my next upload. See you in the next video.